Greetings, ladies and gentlefish. Now, it's been a little while since I showed you an SPG replay, an artillery game, and I believe it's also going to be some time until I show you another one. This is the SU-8, the Soviet Tier 6 artillery piece. Now, this is the first game that I had in this machine after I'd unlocked and mounted the top gun. I'd been using the stock gun before that, which is a 122mm gun, which is really frustrating because the previous artillery piece gives you a 152mm gun that you can't mount. This tank doesn't use it. So you have to grind out the XP for yet another 152mm gun. But there we go. Them's the breaks. Now again, you might notice this tank has a very narrow gun traverse, like most Russian SPGs, and actually the gun traverse on this tank is skewed over to one side, ever so slightly, to the right-hand side. But you can see that unlike its predecessor, this machine is actually fairly mobile. I'm doing 40 kilometers an hour without too much difficulty here on some kind of vaguely soft terrain. Now this is a standard game here on Prokhorovka. I get a lot of games on this map. I think it's because this map uses all three game modes. It's one of the few maps that do, and so if you have all three game modes activated, as I do, you stand a pretty respectable chance of hitting this map quite a lot. So I'm going to go over here to the left hand side, try and communicate with my team. I find a lot of artillery players fail to do that. So I want to tell them, you know, I'm attacking this guy, I'm reloading, all that jazz, and if someone requests fire on someone, there's usually a pretty darn good reason why they are requesting fire on that particular target. So try and oblige them if you possibly can. So people are requesting fire on that Tiger 2, alas, he disappears, but I take a shot anyway, a blind shot of where I think he might be, and I am rewarded with a direct hit. So if anyone knows how I knew that was a direct hit, I'm firing high explosive ammunition. I'm not bothering to load any heat ammo here. This is 100% HE ammo, and I didn't see the explosion, so I hit something. So we're lining up another shot on this T-34, and I keep giving people, you know, I say attacking this person, reload, 5 seconds left, so they know how long it is until they can expect death from above. And we put a shot into the side of that T-34. Well, despite the fact this is a 152mm gun, you know, firing HE ammo, we only have 88mm of penetration, so most of our shots are not going to penetrate. And that goes up to 250 with heat ammo, 700 average damage, but you do have to get direct hits, and tracks can absorb shots, and all this jazz, and so it's very expensive, and I don't usually recommend firing it. Normally artillery players save that for the very last minute. So fire is being requested on this T-34, so I see I should oblige, and put 383 into his side, and wrecked goodness knows what modules. And we reload again. And now my attention somewhat diverts to more immediate problems. Now, hitting the Cromwell on the move is going to be a right nuisance, but this IS-3 is conveniently just driving straight towards me. And he's been tracked, so it will be a relatively simple task to shoot him. There we go, 330 into his front armour. And now I slightly reposition. I don't want to go too far at the moment. I don't feel like running away just yet. I would like to get some more fire onto this guy. He keeps his charge up nonetheless, despite the fact that, well, there's multiple up here, multiple bogies up here, and he knows that there is also at least one artillery piece in the background, because he took a nice big hit in the face for his troubles. He stops again, and at this range my gun is going to be much more accurate, and that's 368 onto his front. And now I decide to relocate. As I say, this piece is much more mobile than its predecessor, the SU-122A, I think it was. And so we're using that mobility to relocate. Despite the fact this is a much larger target, it's based on the chassis of the T-28 Tier 4 medium tank, which was a relatively mobile machine. So that IS-3 just got himself killed, and we managed to get a nice amount of damage into him. This is of course a Tier 8 game, and we're a Tier 6 machine, so we will get a damage multiplier, sorry, an XP multiplier for all these shots, and oh, an artillery piece, by the look of it, possibly, or maybe just a really, or possibly the SU-152 just had a very nice result with that shell into his side, and that one might have splashed him a bit, but it wasn't a direct hit. Didn't manage to pick up the kill. Someone finishes off that Cromwell, and the scoreline is now 6 kills to 3. So when I was using the stock gun on this, I had a number of situations where I thought if only I'd been using the big gun, would have won this game, because I'd have managed, if assuming the shot would have still have hit, I'd have one-shotted that guy, you know, rather than doing 400 damage, I'd have done 900, which would be nice. So people are trying to draw attention to this section of the map over at about E6. So I'm trying to look over it, but I'm very concerned that there's an assortment of bad guys over on the left here, so I retarget them. There was an SU-8 at this spot, so I'm just going to keep my gun here and probably take a blind shot at this location. Just keeping an eye on the in-game messages to see if anybody has already killed him. They haven't, so we take the shot. Alas, it looks like he might have moved, or we might have splashed him, just not got a direct hit. Scoreline is currently 8-6. So, switching attention back to these guys. And if you're in a slow, ponderous, heavy tank or tank destroyer, heavy tank in particular, this is not a particularly good map for you. So, seeing if we can get a kill on this tier 8 tank to take him out of the game. Someone's requesting fire on him, and so I am obliging them, and we managed to finish the guy off. So, Tiger 2 now. Now there's also a heavy tank over to my left hand side, that M6. I'm targeting him because he's a more immediate threat to me. It looks like our SU-152 misses him, so we'll see if I can get a shot on him. I wish this shot was into his side armour, as his side armour is garbage and I'd just one-shot him most likely, but it's not. Instead, I take that shot. Now, that wasn't very well aimed. The reason I took it was that he'd reached the limit of my gun traverse, so I thought, rather than completely re-aiming, let's just take the shot and move somewhere else. Shot misses, but as it is, the SU-152 finishes him off. Tiger 2 now. So I say, attacking them, reloading 10 seconds, so that hopefully gives my team some sort of estimate as to how long it will be until I'm able to shoot them. KV13 says, good job arties. Well, thank you ever so much. When you have good artillery players, or even artillery players that communicate with you on your team, it's speaking as someone who plays artillery and every other class, it's a very nice boon to have. Even if all they're telling you is, RNG has screwed me over, sorry guys, I can't hit the broadside of a bomb from the inside. It's still useful to know that your artillery are trying, they're just having absolutely no luck. Now, last time we saw that SU-100 was over on this left-hand side. I took a shot at him earlier on, but I wasn't successful with managing to kill him, although I could have damaged him. Maybe I damaged some modules as well, that would have been nice. But by now, he may well have pulled back to sort of A1 or something, but I'm going to aim where I think he might be. KB13 says, attention A1, so I think, alright, maybe he knows something I don't. And then Cromwell says, no, E2, and he was pretty much where I thought he was. If I'd been pre-aiming at this spot, or stayed pre-aiming rather than paying attention to our KV13, maybe I'd have been able to pick up some more damage at the end of the game, possibly an additional kill, but as it is, I wasn't. Nonetheless, as I say, that was the first time I'd played this tank fully upgraded, and it ended up being a first-class mastery, which is not too shabby. Mainly because we were doing damage to mostly higher tier tanks, in particular tier 8 machines, which is always nice. So despite the fact that that was an artillery game, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.